You find they like the high water more than the low water? I mean, depending on the species, obviously, but
No, I don't think they like it more than another. You know what, you say that I do, I do because it's saltier, right? Your speckled trout
okay.
are going to get more fiery when it's like that. Your redfish are going to get more fiery. I don't find I catch more fish on high water than low water. I
Okay.
think, especially in Florida, because low water, right? They got to come out the mangroves, so they got to be sitting on bars and stuff. So they're gonna be a little more, accessible. As
Mm-hmm.
to where when they're deep in the mangroves, you can throw all the chumbers you want in there. You'll hear them pop
Yeah.
and pop, pop. Um, but low water in Louisiana, it consolidates them, right? High water, we don't have mangroves. They don't have that to go in, but it spreads them out, right? They can go so many more
Yeah.
places. So I think everyone has its pro and cons, but it definitely brings in that clean, salty water. That's for sure on
Mm-hmm.
that high water.
So I guess kind of that'd be your tactic. Like, let's say you're fishing a body of water that you're unfamiliar with, like as a new territory for you. Your first thing is one looking at that pressure, and then looking at that height water. So you kind of, if it's an unfamiliar territory, you really want to go out there on a low pressure, and then you might find some hot spots based on you won't know your wind patterns. What what would you say about that wind patterns? A little bit more about that. Like, is there any rhyme or reason to any of that?
Yeah, there is north wind. I don't care if it's out 2 miles out the north or 20. They're going to do the same thing on a north wind. It's amazing how I learned that a long time ago from some old timers. They're like, it's blowing out the north at 5. Go to your north wind spots, like your winter spots, and they were there, and it wasn't even
Hmm.
blowing. Like you would think, oh, it's not blowing, right? But
Right.
they definitely can adjust to that stuff. I've done the new area thing a lot lately with the YouTube. I've had to learn a lot of fisheries. I've only been here 4 or 5 years. A time on the water can't be replaced. And that's you can't replace time on the water. But nowadays, man, you have so many, and I think this goes for everything, not just fishing. There's so many different teaching mechanisms, right? I mean, we got Salt
Mm-hmm.
Strong down here, who's a big teacher. We got
Yep.
all the YouTube videos, all the YouTubers. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can definitely get a good start in your area by just looking at, doing a little bit of video watching and stuff like that on your area. Um, but if I was a first timer in an area, I'd go out either not really on a low pressure, on a stable pressure where you haven't had a front in a while, maybe pre-front day or two. And if I catch fish, this is a prime thing too. So I think where a lot of people make a mistake, they go out and they go fish, right? And they catch them and they go home. They catch them at one spot and they leave. If the fish are biting, I'm going to go hit as many spots as I can to learn that area.
Yeah.
And that way, when they're not biting, I can go hit every one of those spots that I caught 10 in and catch 2 in and make a day out of it,
Mm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
on a
Yeah.
tough day, I can go on a high pressure day after a front and go hit 42 spots. That didn't tell me anything. I can go back. I got to go back because they could have just been sitting there. But when they're
Mm-hmm.
feeding, you know a fish hold there or not.
Right. Right. So then you familiarize, like you said, time on the water. Now you know the pockets on like. Then you're back to looking at what you're saying. I got this south wind coming. It's a low pressure. Boom. I know. That's where you talk about finding these honey holes or whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's yeah. That's real good advice. Is if you're hot, then just keep going.
Keep
Just keep
fishing, man. Fish the
keep
whole
fishing
bay.
different spots.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get you
Yeah.
your
That's
spots in that area. You'll learn all the spots of it because it's a prime thing. People catch fish in there and they want to wear them out in one spot and then take it to the house. Well, there was
mm,
so much you could have learned about that bay that day, or what that. Let's say you're fishing an island, a huge island or something, where you can fish all the points, all the coves. Go fish it.
mm-hmm.
See where they
Yeah.
hold. And then
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
tough, you know where they hold. You're going to go to those 6 areas in there and say you got a high pressure. You're going to sit there a little longer. Like because those areas hold fish on that island. Those 6 spots hold fish.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of people don't see too. They see these guys put fish on the table and do all this stuff, or take pictures of these big fish and release them depending on where you are, and they don't realize a lot of times that's a grind. Like they caught 2 fish here, 2 fish there, 2 fish there. They just grinded it, and at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, it looks great. But it's a definitely a process on those days.
Yeah, that's also kind of like going into the YouTube section of like, yeah, you see the video and yeah, they got a lot of fish on the table, or you see them at the dock and they're hanging them all, but they edited out the 18 different spots that they had to go to get all them fish. Like you think it
Yep.
was just they went to one spot and it was hot. No, it was like they were out there for 6 hours in 45 different sections of the water. Like
We
that's
just
just
did one
like
last week, a tarpon video, man. We fished for 9 hours for this one tarpon. We fought it for 40 minutes, so the video looked great, right?
yeah,
You got this great 20-minute video with all this flight and everything, but we grinded for 6, 7, 8 hours to get that bite and got 3
yeah.
bites all day. And that's the game we play.
Hey there, sorry to take you away from the video, but real quick, did you know that on average a boat owner will spend between $1,000 and $5,000 a year just on servicing their engine? And you could actually pocket and save a lot of that money if you would just do the service yourself. It might seem like a daunting task, but I guarantee you virtually everyone can do it with our guidance and the Boaters program. This is just one skill that you could learn inside the program because we have hundreds of other videos teaching you all kinds of boating skills, as well as a weekly live stream where we have questions and answers with me, as well as a chat feature where you can send videos and pictures, ask all kinds of questions, or look for some advice or some guidance on a project that you're doing on your boat. You can join the program by hitting the first link in the description, clicking join, or visiting bornagainboating.com. Now back to the video.